Hello and welcome to the Ingalls SoCon Tip Off Show. I'm Chris Bainbridge, and for the next 30 minutes, we're taking you on a tour of the Southern Conference, getting to know some of the key contenders in men's and women's basketball. The Southern Conference celebrates its 100th birthday this year, and 10 decades of some of basketball's marquee moments. The birth of the Duke-Carolina rivalry, the first three-point shot in the history of the game, the first postseason basketball tournament, the first champion ever to cut down the nets, the most three-pointers made in a college career, and the most three-pointers made in a college basketball game are both records held by recent SoCon stars. And this year, the SoCon ranks as one of the best basketball conferences in the country. This season, new coaches join the ranks, while super seniors saddle up for one last ride. The destination? Asheville, and the Ingalls Southern Conference Basketball Championships. It's time to toss the ball in the air and see who comes out on top. It's time for SoCon basketball. We begin our program by welcoming the newest head coach to join the SoCon, but one who is familiar with the head job. Mike Jones spent the last 10 seasons as the head coach at Radford and claimed a Big South title, Coach of the Year honors, and took the Highlanders to the NCAA tournament. With Coach Wes Miller's departure to Cincinnati, there are some big shoes to fill in Greensboro. No doubt, it will be an exciting season for the Spartans.
I grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C., and went to high school there, and then ended up going to college at Howard University. Played there for 4 years and then started coaching not too long after that. Fell in love with the game when I was young because my father was a professional basketball player, so I was around it all the time and at a very high level, and just, had the love for the game ever since. Something that people might not know about me is I would have loved to play other sports, but I only knew one sport really to play, and that was basketball. But I love tennis, I love golf, baseball, all kinds of sports. But basketball ended up being the only one I played after ninth grade. I spent the last 10 years as a head men's coach at Radford, and coming into that situation, it was kind of starting all over again. And, by the end of our tenure there, we were able to win 3 consecutive championships. And it's because of the foundation that we laid in those first few years that we were able to build a championship caliber program. And so we hope to be able to do the same thing here. The only difference is we're coming into one that's already established as a champion. The success that they've had, particularly in the last 5 years, is pretty much unprecedented. I think there's only been 8 teams in the country that have won 20 games 5 consecutive years, and UNCG was one of them. So a lot of positivity surrounding basketball. I know that they've committed to winning with the facilities that we have here and the commitment to basketball, so it made it a pretty easy choice. We want to compete. We want to be a team that, that you're going to have to really work hard against every possession, and that starts on the defensive end. The rebounding is, those things are really important. Those things, have a direct effect on winning night in and night out. And so, we want to, be a really good defensive team, and rebound extremely well. And make you work for everything that you get. And then on the other end, we just want to be an unselfish team. We want to share the ball. We want to get a great team shot, not necessarily a great individual shot. And so, being unselfish and sharing the ball and being great teammates is really important on the offensive end. You know, I've been with them now for a little while and gotten to know them on and off the court, and I think we got a special group of young men who really look at this as a family, and they enjoy being around each other. They enjoy competing together in practice. So I'm really looking forward to just seeing how that translates on the floor. The work that we put in every day has been good, but you want to see some results when the game starts, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how they play and how they compete.
Mike Jones has a track record of winning and a reputation as a proven leader with a decade of success behind him. Another new head coach in the conference is stepping into the head job for the first time in his career, and he's already inspiring confidence among his players and his fan base. Justin Gray became the 21st head coach in Catamount history when he was hired at Western Carolina University. A standout on the Charlotte high school basketball scene and star at Wake Forest, Gray and teammate Chris Paul took the Demon Deacons to the Sweet 16 in 2003, where they played for coach Skip Prosser. Gray takes over after Skip's son, Mark Prosser, left Western to take over at Winthrop, where Gray was an assistant last year. The storylines abound, and this is his.
I'm a North Carolina kid. I grew up in Charlotte. For as long as I can remember, I've been playing sports. It was just something about basketball. It was how fast it was. And once I started to get older, I studied it, I practiced it, and then in a sense, I fell in love with it. I went to Wake Forest down in Winston-Salem. Obviously, growing up in North Carolina, ACC basketball was, always a dream of any kid. So going into school, I wanted to just show everything I had, and I think once I got there, I made lifelong friends, people that I still talk to today. And then the game was good to me, and I understood that basketball could take me way further than I could ever imagine. I wanted to be a pro. I thought I was gonna play in the NBA. But when those things didn't happen, I never dreamed I'd live in France. I never dreamed I'd go to Dubai. I didn't even know, about any of those things. I never thought I'd go see the world, and I understood once I started doing those things, man, it's a big world out there. I always tell our guys, don't let basketball use you, use the game. And that was something that I truly, truly did live by. I knew my calling 3 years ago after I finished playing was to coach basketball. I made the goal, I set the dream to be a head coach. Now I'm here. Without any vision, without any dreams, you're not truly living. When I talk to my team, I see my younger self. I will help you. I will lead you. I will be there for you. I will coach you hard, but I'll love you harder. I hope to see the relentlessness, how hard we play. Guys flying around, bodies on the floor, loose balls, 50, we going at them with two hands. I like to think you'd see competitiveness, competing at a just the will to win, the will to compete, to go out there and fight, never giving up, always playing to the whistle. And then the power of a unit, obviously playing for the guy that's to the left and the right. Not about you. It's not a me program. It's not about me. It's about what we can do together. And I think, and I hope that's what you'll see when fans come out to the Ramsey and when they see us on the road play that way. Can't wait, and not only for myself and my staff, but for the community, with the energy that I try to bring, the energy that our guys bring, our staff brings every single day. I think that's going throughout the whole athletic department. I can't wait. I said it on my press conference. I hope Colorway is ready because I know a moment is going to come. The time is going to come when we get this thing going in the right direction, and it'll be fun.
As Justin Gray looks to build a contender in Cullowhee, Greg Gary is in the midst of a turnaround in Macon. By virtue of 17 wins in year one, Gary is tied for the most victories by a first-year head coach in Mercer men's basketball program history. He improved on that with 18 wins in year two. Now in year three, Coach Gary looks for his team to take that next step and contend for a conference title.
Competition. That's probably the number one thing, is just competing against somebody else trying to win. And that's the ultimate, I think, about basketball. I grew up in Indiana, so like you better, like Friday, Saturday night, that's what you did. You went to watch basketball, play basketball. I mean, it's kind of what you did. So I'd grown up in that situation. Basketball to me is about the competition and winning. I grew up on a farm, so we had a pretty big, my dad built a real big outdoor slab of cement that was bigger than almost a half court, and then put a goal up, so we'd be out there all the time, right behind the garage. And we had a barn that during the winter we would we spaced out the hay and the straw that we'd put in the barn, and we had a goal up, and that's kind of how I got into it, and probably what made me a little competitive. I have 5 kids. The oldest is 24, and the first 4 were girls. And so it goes 24, 21, 20, 11, and 7. And the last one was a boy. They're awesome. They're around the game, but family is really important to me and to this program. They love being involved. They were all played some sort of sport growing up and know how important it is. So yeah, there's never a dull moment. It's my responsibility, it's our coach's responsibility to make them better people after they graduate from here. That's number one. Yeah, I do love winning, and competition is great, but part of competition, learning how to compete at a high level, is only going to help you when you leave out of here. So that's part of the culture that I enjoy trying to get to do, and holding guys accountable. I said it from the very start, our expectations are to get in that championship game every year, and now we got there in our second year, which was good, and now what we got to do is just get over that hump. But our expectations are to, we should be up there and win the league every year. I don't know why those wouldn't be the expectations, because that's the ultimate prize, is to get to the NCAA tournament. I've been there as a player, I've been there as a coach. There is nothing like it. Our president, Dr. Underwood, President Underwood, and Jim Cole, our AD, I mean, from day one, that the expectations are, to do that. And so I like that. I think that's good. I think you just get the best out of people when you have high aspirations. You're going to have to bring it an awful lot, and it should, for the most performer, get prepared to perform as best you can.
A winning tradition is on the rise for the Mercer Bears, and in Spartanburg, South Carolina, there are banners in the rafters already that tell a tale of a program with a ton of recent success. The Wofford Terriers have become one of the unlikeliest mid-major powerhouses in college basketball. One of the smallest schools in the NCAA, Wofford's Terrier mentality has translated to major upsets and trips to the big dance. Head coach Jay McCauley now has the responsibility keeping it going with a new batch of Terriers taking the court.
We are in this beautiful arena, the Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium. But right over my right shoulder are our banners that a lot of great teams before us have collected, and obviously that we're really proud of our tradition here. We've always tried to recruit tough, competitive kids. We keep them here for 3, 4, 5 years, and they're able to develop. So that winning tradition, that work ethic, this facility that allows us to be in here 24/7, our practice facility, guys love coming to the gym. That's something that's passed on from class to class. And that's something we're very proud of, and that'll continue. We're used to playing freshmen, recruiting good freshmen. It's kind of an eat what you kill program, so it doesn't matter what class you are, and everybody knows that standard here. We'll have to play a lot of young guys this year. We've vacated another 50–60% of our scoring, but we like where we're at, and we like the fight of those young guys to add to the fire here.
Go, 1, 2, 3. Go, 1, 2, 3. Get there, get there.
Just want to be the scrappiest, nastiest bunch every time we take the floor. And you'll see we kind of have that mentality against each other. Everything we do on and off the court is competitive. We compete in everything. I'm talking about everything. Because we want to instill that habit, and a lot of these guys, that's their deal. They're competitive coming in, so they need that every day. And I think that really carries over into the games. That really carries over when we're in hostile environments on the road in a top 10 league in the country. So we want to make that habit everything we do so that when it shows up in games, you know, we're used to that. That's what these kids come here for, is to win, play, and march, but to be in a competitive environment every day. So guys do not like to lose, and I'm right there with them. So I've got to be around those type of personalities, and I think you see that on our court. We try to do that every day, work really, really hard, compete at a high level, and enjoy the process. I'm really just excited about the growth. So far, we've gotten so much better in our first 2 scrimmages, but for us, you know, with some new pieces, we got to use the non-conference, which is always a top 25 non-conference schedule, to get us ready for conference play. And I think if we can stay healthy and learn those lessons that we need when we go into conference play, we'll be right in the mix with all those good teams in our league. So I'm really looking forward to just the daily process, and we're used to going up to Asheville and having a chance, and that'll be no different this year.
Youth will be the blessing and the challenge for this year's Terrier team. While just down the road at Furman, one student athlete is making his return in unprecedented fashion. Last season, in the midst of the COVID pandemic, the NCAA granted seniors the opportunity to return and play a 5th year. The term Super Senior was coined for those returning this season, and it's appropriate for Alex Hunter, as he has been a constant force for good in Greenville as the powerful point guard of the Furman Paladins.
I'll never forget, we were in preseason workouts. We were doing like skill and conditioning type stuff, and the coaches had brought it to me and one of my old teammates, he graduated, Clay Mounts. We were the only seniors last year. And they were just like, hey, you might have the opportunity to come back, but we're gonna see what the NCAA decision is. And so right then I was like, man, the chances of that happening are probably slim to none. So I just was going about it like, hey, this is gonna be my last year. And then it did happen. I wanna say that was like close to the beginning of October. When I heard that, I was like, man, that'll be a great opportunity, you know, just to see, not looking too far ahead because I wanted to play that season out, my actual senior year. But you know, I thought about it a lot, and I talked to the coaches, I talked to my family, and both my parents said it would be a good opportunity for me to come back. And so, you know, I just said I wanted to build off last year. I've improved every year throughout my career here, statistically, but also just maturing as not only a player, but as a man, you know, the way I'm thinking. And I felt like I could do some things here as a leader and help the guys around me like they helped me. And it was a no-brainer, like I said. Once I got that opportunity, I just went ahead and told Coach Richie, I was like, I'm coming back. I'm Alex Hunter. I'm a super senior here at Furman University, point guard for the basketball team. And because of the COVID year, I was granted this 5th year.
What Alex Hunter means to this team is just having a player that understands winning at a high level. He's also the point man of our defense, somebody that really understands our defensive concepts and plays defense at a high level. And then also somebody that knows all of our schemes and our concepts. And we also love the ability that he can make shots. And so, you know, he's a great person. He's an unbelievable teammate. He embodies everything that we're about as a program. And to be able to have the pleasure of having him back one more year, you know, we consider ourselves blessed.
I would say the most part is, as simple as it may sound, is just having fun. You know, I feel like in the past I've looked ahead at too much and, you know, not embraced the moment in certain situations that I wish I had taken advantage of a little bit more. And so just enjoying every part of the process, whether it be, I was telling Coach, like whether it be lifting weights or having a practice, like I'm not gonna get this opportunity again with this group of guys. And this school is so dear to me and means so much to me. It's helped form me and mold me into the man I am right now. So I feel like I owe so much to the school. Like, I gotta embrace it and take what it's been given to me as well, while I'm trying to give everything I can back. And so I'm just trying to enjoy every part of it.
Up next, we remain at Furman to talk to a coach who is already enshrined in school history. As a player, Jackie Carson lit up the SoCon, and her jersey hangs in the rafters of Timmons Arena. The reputation of a stellar playing career can cast a long shadow on expectations for coaching success. But amidst all of that, Carson has built a contender in Greenville, and the Paladins are back with some fight to take on the SoCon again this season.
It's funny because I was super nervous returning back to Furman as the head coach, because a lot of people equate your basketball career with your coaching career. And I was blessed to have a really good career here, so I knew the expectations was pretty high. Going on year 12, so I can't believe so many years have gone by, but I'm still honored just as in day one to be leading this program. My name is Jackie Carson, and I'm the head women's basketball coach at Furman University. So part of my why in coaching is always something that's greater than basketball. You know, I usually have other people's daughters from 18 to 22 years old, and it's my responsibility as a coach not only to prepare them for basketball, but life after basketball. We have a program called the Women of Distinction Mentoring Program, where they are set up with women in the professional realm of, again, their life after basketball. So it helps them with internships, it helps them with job preparation, and just life in general, motherhood, how to be a woman entrepreneur, just anything that we can help give them success for their next part of their lives. Last year was the most challenging year of coaching I've ever dealt with, not only just from, I'm not even talking about the success that we had or the lack of success that we had, it's more so of dealing with the mental health of our players, the physical health with the COVID protocols. We had 8 freshmen last year that had no idea what it was like to be a college student. And so now you combine that with 5 freshmen this year who are trying to figure out what it's like to be a college student. So we really feel like we have 13 freshmen out there who had no idea what it was like to go to class physically, balance it with basketball, have a 20-hour a week, start on November 12th. So it was just a lot to go through, but I'm so proud of our staff and our program for how they maintained. So this year, just definitely looking forward to having our fans back in the stands, the support. I think one of the things that comes with women's basketball is just being surrounded with great people. And when you don't have that nurturing group of fans around you, then it takes a little bit something out of our game on the women's side. So we've missed our quality of fans around us. I'm excited for our girls to be able to play in Timmons with hopefully a packed gym, to not have any cancellations and losing home games. I'm excited for our seniors to have a year of normalcy as close as possible. It's crazy, the small things. I'm excited about our bench actually not being 20 feet apart from one another. Like it's the small things that make coaching really, really hard, because it's about relationships. And when you listen to our girls last year saying what's the best part about basketball is traveling so they can get out of their seclusion, that's a tough thing to hear as a coach. So I'm looking forward to them playing and competing and traveling all over the country and going against some great competition in our conference and out of conference.
Coach Duggar Balcom has been leading the Citadel's men's basketball program since 2015. Before that, he spent 10 years as the head coach at VMI. But before coaching basketball was in the cards for this Charlotte native, he had another career in law enforcement. He was a North Carolina state trooper for 4 years, a Charlotte police officer for 5, a member of the SWAT team. So how do you go from a team famous for knocking down doors to a team famous for knocking down threes? And what do those two teams have in common? Take a trip to Charleston, and you might find out.
I'm kind of unique in that I've had 2 lives, really. One, 9 years in law enforcement. That got me into basketball, actually being the resource officer. When I was a city officer, I was sent back to North Mecklenburg where I had played, and then I was able to coach with my former coach. I've always kind of liked being on a team, even when I was a player, and then when I started coaching and in law enforcement, you work within a team every night that you go out. Like if you're on midnight shift, you're working with 7 or 8 guys, and your goal is always to come back in together, you know, at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that was certainly a team, and you depended on when you called for somebody, you really needed them to be there. Much like basketball, you know, if I'm guarding the ball and I get beat off the dribble, I need my teammate to be there covering up for me. So there's a lot of similarities, bonds that you build. It's interesting how adverse situations make people grow closer. That was the way it was in law enforcement, kind of the way it is in athletics, I think, too.
Hey, family on three, 1, 2, 3.
I have some very good assistants, and about 4 years ago we started a little different recruiting model, recruiting character first and foremost. It all started with a guy who's in the senior class by himself this year, Jerry Higgins. So it's been a process with those guys. We're delighted with the kids that we have now in our program. And they're just first-class people first, and unbelievable players also. But they're the kind of guys that you want your daughters to date or marry, and you want to be around every day. Just terrific kids that happen to be good basketball players also. We've never been able to really recruit big guys. You know, this is my 17th year at a military school, and big guys that want to march are not a high commodity. So we decided about 16 years ago, let's play fast and let's be different. If we're going to be different, let's be way different. So that kind of started the space and pace, kind of the way we play now, and it's just kind of taken a life of its own. We recruited to it. Kids enjoy playing that way. We're looking forward to building off last year. Last year was a pretty special year for us, unique year in that you know, you had all the COVID issues, but our guys persevered, made it through it, and I think we'll be stronger for it this year. Had 2 of our 3 guys return that had eligibility left, which was a neat thing, which makes us older than we've been. So we're looking forward to that, and their leadership certainly going to help us, I think.
With so many great men and women across the conference, it's no wonder that the SoCon is climbing the ranks every year as one of the best basketball conferences in the country. To conclude our program, we went to the 2 men who likely know this conference better than anyone to get their take on the season ahead and what all of us can look forward to as basketball tips off again. The voice of the SoCon, Pete Yanity, and Commissioner Jim Schaus.
This is our 100th anniversary. So 1921, the conference was formed in Atlanta, and now 100 years later, we're the 5th oldest conference in the country. So we're celebrating this in 2021. A new logo, a lot of other branding issues, and some initiatives that we still have planned for the rest of this year. So very, very special, our 100th anniversary. Men's and women's are together in our conference championships, as we always have had done, and that's very important and special to us. On the men's basketball side, we'll have 13 national linear television games that we'll be doing, and so that's really important for national exposure.
I think in this conference, just like every other, you're going to be talking about a lot of experienced teams based on the extra year granted, and so there are so many 5th and 6th year players back in this conference.
You know, obviously we're here in Asheville at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, and we've just extended our agreement with them for 5 additional years. And so that's critical for us. We love being in Asheville. Asheville loves having our tournament here. It has a hometown feel to us, and so it really means a lot for us to continue, which is the oldest conference tournament in the country. It's over 100 years now. We've had it now, and in Asheville more times than other cities. So there's lots to celebrate. A new 5-year agreement with Ingalls, working as a partner with this tournament and elsewhere, so lots to celebrate.
With a centennial celebration underway and 100 years of stories to tell, the SoCon is just getting started. Come March, 2 champions will be crowned, and at least 2 SoCon teams will punch their ticket to the big dance. The good news for us, we get to watch it all play out. This season, Ingles will bring you a game of the week every week leading up to the madness that awaits us in March. And with fans in the stands and highlights over the airwaves, it'll be a season to remember. We'll see you in Asheville at the Ingles SoCon Basketball Championships. Thanks for watching the Ingles SoCon Tip Off Show.